Everyone, it's Aurora and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Hello. I can't believe it. It is now the last video of 2025. The year has just sailed by for me. But anyway, that's not what we're going to be talking about. We are going to be talking about Murder at the Mayfair Hotel by CJ Archer. So this is going to be a very spoiler-free review, very different from what I would normally do because unlike, the romances that I read, if I give too much away, it absolutely spoils the book, because you are going along for the whodunit of the story. So anyway, this book was free on Kindle. I was on Instagram ages ago and it came up as an ad saying, hey, get the first Cleopatra Fox book for free. I thought, yeah, I like this era. I like a cozy crime every now and again. So I gave it a go. So anyway, let's get into the overview of the plot. So Cleopatra Fox is 23 years old and she is completely alone in the world. Her grandmother has not long passed away and she's still in mourning, and her parents had passed away about 10 years previously in an accident. And her mum married beneath her, so she was completely cut off from her very wealthy family, who she has now gone to live with. She is now living with her mum's sister, her aunt, her husband, who owns the hotel, and they have a son and a daughter who is about the same age as Cleo. So she turns up just before Christmas. Christmas Day, an old lady is found passed away in her room, and it turns out she's been poisoned. So that said, let's just have a little chat about the book because that is what kicks off the events. So the truth is, I really wanted to like this book, and unfortunately, I really didn't. I was bored, quite frankly, and there was a few reasons for this. The first thing was there are a lot of plot holes of convenience. Now, that in and of itself isn't necessarily boring, but it was confusing. So Cleopatra has been in the hotel for less than 48 hours. And one of the maids turns around and says, hey, you absolutely have to solve this crime because the police won't do it. Well, what makes this woman, this complete stranger, who you have met like twice for not that long, seem like the ideal candidate to solve a murder? And the thing is, the staff of the hotel pretty much get on board right away, those that know what she's doing. And they're like, yes, only you can do it. We don't trust the police. It's you. You're going to solve it. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I've got milk in my fridge that I've known longer than you have known this woman. How do you think that she is going to solve a murder? And this is at a time where, bear in mind, women's rights are pretty non-existent and women were seen as this fairer, weaker, simpler sex. And there is no good earthly reason why this woman is seen as, a crime solver. Now, don't get me wrong, this absolutely works in books. You take the Marple series by Agatha Christie, where everyone discounts Miss Marple as a doddery old woman. No one thinks she's capable of solving a crime, and that is where the brilliance lies. So why did a bunch of strangers, quite frankly, who are in her uncle's employ, think that she is some kind of crime-solving genius? I could not work it out, and throughout the book, I couldn't work it out. The other thing that really threw me for a loop was that the uncle turns around and says, to the police, you can interview the staff, you can't interview the people staying in the hotel. You cannot talk to the clientele. Which made no sense. Well, I kind of get it from his business point of view. He doesn't want to upset the people staying in the hotel over the Christmas and New Year period. But why did the police just go along with this? Because quite frankly, the people who are most likely to have seen something is maybe the people in the room across from the old woman or either side of the woman. But no, can't talk to them. And that is just taken as fine. So yeah, a lot didn't make sense with this book. The police really didn't seem very involved, I suppose, because they weren't. They just went, oh, okay, no, we're not going to talk to these people. You've then got people leaving. And if I had done the murder, I would have been one of them. Because guess what? I could just walk out, get away scot-free and vanish into the night. So none of that really works. Again, it was just this plot hole of convenience to let Cleo go and solve the murder. And she has times where she's like, oh no, I can't do this. What was I thinking? Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, I'm with you on that one. I don't know what's going on here either. And then she's like, oh no, but I must. And it's like, yeah, you do. Otherwise, this book's going to end. And could you not? Because then this book's going to end. So yeah, it didn't really work. So then you've got also little bits like, oh, going on and on and on about how the hotel is lit with electric light. Yes, this was a big deal at the time, but it has nothing to do with the story. And you could mention it once, that would have been fine. So, and same with the elevator, the lift. This is something that hotels didn't really have at the time because they all run on electricity. Electricity is new and it is very expensive to have this done. I thought that's where the crime was going to happen and was like, oh, this could be really interesting because it's so slow. And Cleo just takes the stairs because she can't be bothered to wait for it. And oh, she likes the exercise, whatever. Yeah, all this is great. You could do something with it. And I felt like it, again, went nowhere. There was a lot that didn't, and you need red herrings, don't get me wrong, but these just felt like a waste of my time rather than red herrings. The murder happening in the elevator would have been so cool, but no, it's just some woman we don't know. No one really seems to care that she's been poisoned, aside from the fact that the person who's been initially accused, who we barely see or speak to, they don't want him to be accused because they all know he's innocent who work there. And then you've got the owner of the hotel, something Bainbridge, I want to say. I didn't read this book that long ago. I remember very little. But all him and the family really care about is, oh no, people will leave and then we'll have to cancel the New Year party. No one cared about this woman, like no one. So why do I care about her murder being solved? So yeah, it wasn't great. The characters are very one-dimensional and flat. Flossie is the only one who stood out, and that is just because she is a very vapid caricature. All she cares about is the dance and pretty dresses and spending daddy's money, and that's all I've got. Yeah, it's not great, is it? So yeah, and Cleo just felt very there for a main character and not particularly exciting or interesting or likable. She didn't have this brilliant mind at all, or if she did, it didn't come across that way. So yeah, it wasn't great. And the plot just kind of plods along. This could have been a novella and been better because I was hitting a point of like, okay, start wrapping this up, move, go somewhere, do something. Nothing really worked with this book for me, especially with, obviously the glaring plot holes of convenience to, get things happening or whatever, or, make things make a bit more sense. No, they didn't even make things make more sense. I don't even know why they were there. Aside from it's a reason for, Cleo to actually investigate this crime. But again, it just felt so ridiculous. Yeah, I really, really wasn't a fan of this book. And I haven't actually long finished it, and I remember so very little. So yeah, this is, and again, a setting that was fine, but I actually know it's not fine. I love this setting. I mean, this is how dull the book was. I'm like, yeah, it was fine. This is an era I find fascinating. I just finished a book previous to that I'm going to be reviewing next week that was set about a year later, in time and in the same place. It's in London in 1901, and yet that was amazing, and the world building is just stellar. But I'm going to stop now because I'm obviously reviewing it next week. But it all felt like there was just gaps in the world building and the setting, and the era didn't really maybe work for the story, and nothing really felt like it came together. So it was a real shame. It just felt like there was some world building lacking. There was definitely some characterization lacking. Everything felt very flat. It hit a point that towards the sort of maybe 60% onwards, every time I opened it up, I was just going, oh God, please just let this be over now. And I finished this purely because I was going to do it for a review. Otherwise, 100% I would have DNF'd this book. So yeah, it's unfortunate that's my last review of the year, but unfortunately it is what it is. They're not all winners. So yeah, and this is the first book in a series, and I'm not going to read the rest of the series. I'm going to be going back to the next Gabriel Ward book when that comes out. I've still got some Shard Lake books to read to finish that series. You know, I've got some historical crime to read, but it's down the line. Yeah, so that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have read the other books and they get better, let me know in the comments below. If you have a cozy historical crime recommendation, again, pop that below, because I do like them every now and again as a break from romance. And yeah, do give me a subscribe if you haven't already. It hugely helps out little channels like myself, and I will see you in 2026. Bye!